This is always so weird for states because you just never know. You look just like your photos, which is so cool because not everyone does. I'm Ryan. You know that.
Really effective piece. This is why we see film, because it's those day of days. This is the day that they're going to take the risk and put themselves out there and reveal themselves. And um, it gave me that full roller coaster. And underneath, there was always that drive that he would accept Tina, but the piece was wise enough to allow us to sit in those moments, to let it dawn on the character and on us what was happening, to feel that drop in the pit of their stomach of, how am I going to take this? How am I going to step forward? And we got that realistic slow burn to really dive into the messiness and the preconceptions and the societal constraints. And then that release at the end, that final moment just really made my heart sing. And having a newfound spot in his heart or a new part of himself open up, and then a new contact on his phone open up as well was really lovely. And I think we need more of these stories of victories, but not glossing over the fact that it can be difficult for people, and that's okay.
I tend to enjoy grounding setups like this with two people having a conversation. I think there's a lot of room for both performers to reflect a level of emotional range that makes the piece a lot more interesting to get into. And I thought that the performers in this piece worked really well on making that happen. I thought the premise, obviously, of their transition was an interesting way to approach the dynamic. Excuse me. And I thought the piece had a lot of empathy and compassion to the construct from both points of view, and I feel like it had a realistic feel that made Tina seem more endearing, and the dynamic, excuse me, and the dynamic feel more natural. So I thought it had a very realistic feel, and obviously has a lot of real world relevance. So I thought it was a piece that was made with a lot of empathy, and I thought it was effective for those reasons.
I loved how it was a positive experience for the both of them. I really truly appreciated how it kind of showed both sides. How, of course, for the guy, he knew Tina when she was Tim, and how it's not easy for everyone to understand right away, especially when you do have a history with this person and you did know them as one version, and now you have to learn them as someone new because they have this new identity and they want that to be who they are. So I really appreciated how they kind of showed how he was a little confused, and how it's not, right away for someone to be like, oh, yeah, totally. Like, it takes a second. And I think I also like the perspective that although it takes a second, people can come around and people do come around, and that it's also okay to come around. I thought the two actors were great. I really liked their chemistry. I thought they did a phenomenal job. And I kind of liked how Tina wasn't exactly like Tina was explaining how they knew each other, and Tina was explaining how she is who she is now, and she feels like she's found her truth, but she's also not there to be um I guess the explainer. You know how you don't always want to be the person who has to teach everyone. You don't always want to be the person who has to give a lesson. And I kind of liked how Tina didn't have to do that. Tina was just kind of like, this is me now. You don't have to understand it, but I would like for you to accept it. So I thought that was a really great perspective. And I love the fact that he did come around, and that, just through transparency and through understanding, it's really that simple.
Tina's friend had to go through a transition of his own, of the revelation of learning about Tim's transition into Tina. Uh, and that's something I very much appreciated, is that throughout this film you can see him go through all the different motions before coming to accept Tina's new life. I like it because it's a very human response, in the sense of, you go through life knowing someone, and especially with this situation, it was long since they had an area of separation where he hadn't seen Tina for a long time, but for others, they're alongside for the transition. But when you go through your entire life knowing someone, and then you have to relearn who they are, just like for them, transitioning into this person, for you, it's also transition of relearning who they are. Meeting them again for the first time.
Honestly, I think our lead takes this information um, fairly well. So it's kind of a nice instance of how maybe we should carry moments like these when we might face something like this ourselves. We kind of get to show a little bit down memory road with, kind of here's where I am now, here's how I kind of handled things. And, it's also kind of touching on the fact that maybe it's good to remain in touch with the people that impact you and follow your life because they might be going through things you might not even recognize that they're going through. And they might fall off the face of the earth because of these things. But it's a beautiful story to be able to take that chance, reconnect, and possibly rekindle something that they might not have fully recognized.
Great pace and very well done as far as creating that first date awkwardness between the actors. Really well done. Simple setting, which I like. So I like the set design. I like the casting. I thought the writing was really good, and it was really cute. I liked this subject matter. I liked how you decided to present it with this first date. Seemingly, the only awkwardness is that it's a first date, but then it takes a turn. And I thought it had a really natural, nice, realistic progression. I think the guy was trying to not overreact, and make Tina feel bad. So, and come to terms with everything too. I think that's very challenging for the actor. And I think they did a nice job with that, both of them, with Tina trying to present her side of it without being, scaring the person, but also the other guy taking it in. I thought it was very well done, very well directed and edited as well. Just really nice, too, with the inputting of the phone number at the end. I don't think we usually see that in a short or a film, and I liked that you actually showed that part of it, because putting the name where he's about to put Tim and then he puts Tina, I think that shows acceptance on his part. So I thought that was really cool.
I really, really, really enjoyed this. I thought it was a really, really intriguing story. I also loved how they kind of played with the first date and how awkward it was and how nervous and awkward even, like, especially meeting somebody off of the dating site can be. And they really kind of leaned into those moments. And then when you get more of the rest of the story or more of their history, you can kind of read into why there was that tension even more, and kind of why it just built and built. And then I think they really handled that conversation well. Then they kind of just like went through it about it in like a really slow and kind of beautiful way of Tina being able to tell her side of it, her version of events, and kind of how she came to be and what her story really was. And I think that that was, like I said, I thought that was done really beautifully, and that, after the initial kind of pushback, after the initial kind of, you know, disbelief, that, he was willing to sit and listen, which I think that should be the bare minimum, just being able to sit and listen. And, she then was like, this has been a lot, I'm gonna go, and just kind of let him make whatever next, thought he wanted to. And I think that that was also, like I said, I think the whole thing was done really, really well. I really liked it. I thought, like I said, I thought it was a really intriguing story. I think it really, played with, awkwardness and tension and nerves.